Robert Duvall is part of the cast. Martin, I am mandated to ask you at any point in time, did you stroll on the field asking the players if they love the smell of napalm in the morning? Did that ever happen on the set?
I asked Bobby, it was a great pleasure to see him once again and to actually play with him, because I hadn't played with him since Apocalypse, but I'd see him every now and then. But we had just a little window, as Luke knows, and Ty Roberts said, well, we might get him, we might not. And so we didn't know till the day he showed up. And so we're just so honored to see him again and play with him, because he's one of the great actors of my generation. But I adored him personally, and just to see him again. I had butterflies working there, just that tiny little scene. I thought, oh, Jesus, and
I just remember having that day off and going to work and coming around the corner, and there was Martin and Robert Duvall talking, and it's like, it makes you go back to where you feel like you're sitting in a theater. And I don't know what it's like for those guys to have a bunch of guys kind of looking like lovingly at them, but just while they're trying to talk and catch up. But it was so incredible and heartwarming just to see these guys that you admire so much kind of touching base, and to see how much they cared about each other, and just, what they would have gone through, together, in the Philippines back then.
Yeah, I was gonna, I'm glad you said that, Luke, because I wanted to know what you thought, at any point in time, like, oh God, that's Martin Sheen and Robert Duvall. I know that you've done a lot of films, but you're not a jaded individual. That's pretty neat to see. And
I asked Bobby that just as a favor to me, just say that line once, because there was a moment in the film when one of the kids is thrown out of the game or takes a hit, and Bobby would say, "Cheer up, son." And I said, "You've got to say that like you did in Apocalypse." So he did. So I got to encourage him to do that.
Oh, that's a.
Cheer up, son.
I was going to ask if the character's name was Charlie, if he was not allowed to surf or anything like that.
No.
And it is just awesome to see, and I'm glad that you had that moment with Robert Duvall. Is there any memory of that scene in particular that we, as film fans, don't know about, Martin? The day that scene did in fact take place.
The scene in Apocalypse, or the
yes,
scene?
Yes, sir. The scene in Apocalypse.
The most impressive thing about it was that we couldn't practice with the choppers. It was when they came on the scene, that was when we filmed. And so we would practice, the choppers would be on the ground and the blades would be still. And there was a guy standing by each chopper with a long bamboo stick. And if you got close to the tail, he'd just start swinging at you. That's where guys get killed, is backing into the tail of a chopper on the ground. So we would practice our lines, but then the scene would start. You couldn't hear anything. You couldn't see for the smoke and the sand kicking up. And there was Bobby, and he never missed a line or hit a spot. I mean, it was like, just follow him. Whatever he does, just follow him. He knows what he's doing. The confidence he just oozed like the character. That was Bobby. In the middle of all those crazy scenes, he was very strict. The bombs are going off. It was mesmerizing just to watch him in those scenes. He just never stopped.
Well, it's just wonderful to see you guys back on the screen together. And Luke, I'm assuming the same thing with Bamboo. Same thing happened on the set of Old School, right? That same thing happened where they hit you.
There was chaos on Old School. It wasn't quite as life-threatening.
Fantastic.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.